Hi everyone, I'm retired meteorologist Pat Prokop from Savannah, Georgia, and today is Friday, August the 15th. Being August the 15th, we're now entering that prime time for tropical storm and hurricane development in the Atlantic Basin. And this is from around now, August 15th, through the mid to the end of the month of October for the prime time. The hurricane season will extend all the way through the month of November. But right now, we do have a hurricane in the Atlantic Ocean by the name of Erin, and a tropical wave on the coast of Africa has emerged off the coast of Africa. I'm going to take a look at that as well. But before we do that, you know what? It is hot outside here in our area, and we have a heat advisory in effect for a large portion of our region. So let's take a look at that right now. And there it is, a heat advisory in effect for southeastern Georgia, extreme southern portions of South Carolina, and into the north and central portions of the peninsula of Florida, and all the way back into the lower Mississippi River Valley, mid-Mississippi River Valley, into the central plains, almost getting into the northern plains where heat advisories are in effect. For example, St. Louis, they're expecting heat index values there of around 108 degrees. How about us? Looking at our conditions around here, we're seeing those heat index values to be approaching in the 110 degree mark across a large portion of the Chatham County area of Savannah, and in around Georgetown and Berwick Plantation region, around 110 this afternoon heat index, and about the same across the interior portions of southeastern Georgia, 111 at the Darien area, Brunswick 112 heat index value expected today, and even in Midway and in Keller, all in the coastal counties, those heat index values very dangerous. Anything above 105 is dangerous. So these are the dangerous areas. As you go further inland, the dew point or the humidity content of the atmosphere is a little bit less, and the heat index is computed by temperature and the humidity value of the atmosphere, and a little less humidity over as you get farther away from the coast, and hence the index there of about 101 to 105. Still, that's hot enough for me. Now, as we go into the, let's take a look at the Hilton Head area, 109 degree heat index there for today, Bluffton 111. So yeah, it's going to be a very hot day on Friday. Saturday, still hot, but not quite as hot. I'm not going to say cooler, I'm just going to say less hot. And then going into Sunday, a little bit drier air. That dew point drops a little bit more on Sunday and Monday, hence the heat index values will be in the upper 90s only to around 100, and then in the upper 90s to middle 90s Monday and Tuesday going into Wednesday. Then by Thursday, back to around 100 degrees once again. All right, let's take a look at the satellite imagery. That's a lot of people are more interested in that right now. Of course, I'm interested in the heat because I have this garden to take care of. Anyway, there's Hurricane Erin right now with 75-mile-per-hour winds just to the east of the Leeward Island into the Virgin Islands. And there's another wave coming off the coast of Africa right now. Let's look at the enhanced view of this. And there you can see quite a bit of a definition associated with the Hurricane Erin. One of the things about this hurricane already, it's very large in diameter. So that's going to be stirring up a lot of the ocean, and that's going to generate a strong swell, particularly when it gets closer to the southeast United States. That's going to start producing rip currents and high breakers across the, well, just almost the entire east coast of the United States, particularly the mid-coast all the way down to the coast of Florida. And then further to the east off the western coast of Africa, there we have a new tropical wave coming on across that. I'm going to take a look at that in just a moment on the models, see what the models say about that. And there's some question going on there. Let's take a visible look at the satellite imagery. This is from Tropical Tidbits. Boy, they do a great job in weather information. If you want to look at model runs and hurricane information, this is a great place to go. Tropical Tidbits. Anyway, there's the visible satellite view. This storm is really winding up right now, as you can see. Let's take a look at the enhanced infrared view. And there you can see very cold top temperatures. It looks like an eye is trying to form right over here. And that's right around 19 degrees north and 56 degrees, 56 and a half degrees west. So keep that in mind, just under 19 and 55.5, okay? Let's take a look at something I wanted to look next is over here is at the water temperature. Now, the reason I said those numbers, latitude and longitude, because I want to show it to you on this map over here. And there you have it right there. That's where the storm has been, and coming out of temperatures of the water being in the mid to upper 20s, mostly in mid 20s Celsius, which is about what, in the lower 80s. But now it's going to be moving off to the west, from the east, moving to the west northwest. And there the water temperatures are warming up. They're even warmer. They're in the upper 20s and lower 30s. Lower 30s, that's about what, 87 degrees Fahrenheit. 30 degrees is about 88 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's moving into those warmer waters. And further to the west, there we can see the waters off the coast of the southeast United States in the 30s, low 30s there. That's in the mid to upper 80s, and in the upper 80s across the Gulf of Mexico at this time. So anything that moves into these waters, that water there is rich in octane value or heat energy that is available for the hurricane to draw upon, and that is the main energy supply for tropical storms and hurricanes, the water temperature. All right, looking at the forecast models here. Here's the ECMWF. This has been the more reliable model lately. And it has the storm. Well, there's the initial location of the storm. All models get that one right. But anyway, putting this into motion, you can see it moving to just skirting the Bahamas, and then moving off, turning to the north, and then bypassing the Bermuda area, the islands of Bermuda right over here. And still, it looks like they're going to get at least tropical storm force winds, if not hurricane force winds, skirting the island there. But it looks like it's going to go between the islands. What about further to the east? Anything coming out of there from that wave coming off the coast of Africa? Well, according to the ECMWF, nothing to worry about when there. Let's take a look at the GFS model. And this is from, again, Tropical Tidbits. And putting this into motion there, again, you have Hurricane Erin moving off to the north, just to the west of Bermuda. And there, the GFS has it a little bit closer to Bermuda than the ECMWF had it. So Bermuda, if this model is correct, is looking at potential Category 2, Category 3 hurricane strength winds flowing across that area. And okay, the storm then moves out into the open waters of the Atlantic. But then the GFS picks up on that wave that has been coming off the coast of Africa. And let's back this up a little bit and let's follow it. There it is, coming off the coast of Africa and then moving across the central tropical Atlantic Ocean, and then cuts across the Virgin Islands into the northern Caribbean, and then cuts across Puerto Rico and just in through the Florida Straits as another developing hurricane. So we have to keep an eye on that. All right, let's take a look at the Canadian model, see what it has to say for this situation. And once again, there's Erin. And let's put this into motion here. And yeah, Erin goes away. And then that other system is developing in the central tropical Atlantic Ocean, lagging behind what the GFS. So right now, if you're looking at the GFS, I wouldn't put too much money on the betting table for that model at this time. It seems like that model has been having issues, particularly past 240 hours. And so we'll have to keep an eye on that. That's what, 10 days in advance. So we'll keep an eye on it, but right now we'll have to keep an eye on Erin, because Erin is going to be moving across into the southwest Atlantic Ocean. That will generate strong swells across the east coast of the United States, particularly from the mid-Atlantic coastal states, perhaps even all the way up into the southern New England states, all the way down through the coast of South Carolina, Georgia, of course, and Florida, east coast of Florida. And those will generate dangerous rip currents, which will, if you're out on the beach swimming, trying to cool off, you get one of those rip currents, that'll pull you out to sea, and you don't want to get caught in those. So be careful if you're going to be going to the beaches, particularly by Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday coming up. The currents are going to be very, very strong, and the breakers are going to be very, very high as well, strong breakers. So, and if you have a boat moored in the docks, and you might want to keep an eye on your mooring lines as well. All right, let's take a look at the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. This is a good time to review the situation about hurricanes. This is on my website, savannahpat.name, but you got the categories 1 through 5, and right now, the Erin is a Category 1 storm with 74 to 95 mile an hour winds. And you go to Category 2, Category 3. It looks like it'll be a Category 4 storm when it's south of Bermuda. And that's winds of 130 to 156 miles an hour. And then if it's a Category 5, that's 157 to 200 miles an hour winds. And when you get closer to shore, these winds also generate these horrendous storm surge values. We'll be talking about more about that when storms start to threaten our area. But if you want to take a look at this, it's on my webpage. If you want to review your hurricane information about the strength of hurricanes, and nothing to laugh about. These are very serious situations. These values here are very damaging and very dangerous. So keep an eye on that. But right now, no threats to our area at this time. But it's only the middle of August. All right, looking at the closer view, the middle portion of the month of August, August 15th. This is Friday. We're seeing some showers and thunderstorms developing across the central portions of South Carolina, drifting slowly southward. That's in association with a front that's going to be sagging southward, and that front will be approaching our area of southeastern Georgia and extreme southern South Carolina. There's a sea breeze front coming in right now, and that front's going to, well, I don't want to say cool us off. It's just going to make it a little less hot as it passes on through. And we're also seeing some showers and thunderstorms far to the west on the Alabama-Georgia border, out the far southwest portions of Georgia, southeast Alabama. Meanwhile, those temperatures are hot in the mid to upper 90s across the region this afternoon. The localized GOES satellite imagery shows that band of showers and thunderstorms associated with that front that's coming down across South Carolina, and it will be moving into Georgia. And hopefully, again, bring a little less hot temperatures across our area. So taking a final look at my webpage, savannahpat.name, it's great information to get weather information, a great place to get weather information. I got my weather discussion, the tropical weather discussion as well. And there's the forecast, my forecast, and it's calling for those temperatures a little less hot over the weekend. I can't say cooler. 93 on Saturday, 91 on Sunday, then back to the low to middle 90s for just about all of next week. The rain chances a little bit lower today, except further to the north. There should be a little bit higher. And then 70% probability of showers and thunderstorms on Saturday as that front moves into the vicinity, and then drops to 40% on Sunday. And then Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, we might have basically dry weather conditions, only a remote chance for any showers and thunderstorms to develop during the time period. I might actually be able to get the telescope out. I've been trying to do that for the last, well, I haven't been able to open the telescope for at least 2 weeks now because of the sky at night. It's been so cloudy. I tried to go out last night, and oh my gosh, it was at 11 o'clock at night. The temperature was still 82. It felt like about 100 though, because the humidity was so high. And I was just there trying to focus the telescope before the clouds came in. As soon as I got it focused, the clouds did roll in, but I was soaking wet, just sweating, standing there in the heat at night. So it's amazing that I don't know how people survived without air conditioning in the past. Anyway, a little less hot air coming in for this weekend. I'd like to thank all my supporters to this channel and the new members that we have just, thank you very much, that just joined my channel. You can join too if you would like to help support my channel, and you can buy me a cup of coffee. I've been drinking my coffee here, even though it's not a wise idea to drink coffee in the heat of the summer if you're outside working, because caffeine does draw moisture out of your system, and you need all the moisture you can to help keep yourself cool. But anyway, I'm in the air-conditioned house right now, so I'll have my cup of coffee here at the moment. It's good. Anyway, thanks very much, and I'll keep you posted on this weather situation and the tropics, and have a good weekend. It's going to be on the warm side, well, hot side. So see you later. Bye.